Hello everyone. Welcome to this exciting and thrilling escape game. Please get ready to face the challenge as soon as possible. Daoqi is forced to kick off a 24-hour attention-filled escape game, where anyone around could be his enemy. He must stay alert and trust no one, so he hops onto a bus first. Soon, a long-haired dude sauntered over, asking, "Mind if I sit here?" Daoqi reluctantly nodded. However, the man's suitcase raised Daoqi's suspicions, and just as the guy was about to open it, he bolted out of there. He shouted for the driver to stop, earning him glares from the crowd, but all he cared about was escaping. Meanwhile, his wife suddenly notices an unexpected $50,000 in their account and quickly calls Daoqi. But Daoqi's phone is with Cyrus, while he's walking down the street, noticing a car leisurely trailing behind him and thinking, "Have I bumped into a hunter?" He quickly dashed to the other side of the road but ended up being smacked by a fast-moving car. Thankfully, he was fine, but the driver yelled, "Are you insane?" Daoqi couldn't care less. Survival was his priority. Witnesses told Cyrus about Daoqi's antics, and they unanimously agreed he was the worst participant so far, while Daoqi arrived at a commercial building. Since the hunters weren't going to kill him in public, the more people, the safer he might be. Although packed with people, he could temporarily evade danger, but one game rule was he had to keep running, no stopping. Grabbing the opportunity, Daoqi dashed into the elevator, but just as the doors were about to close, a hand stopped them. A blonde hunk walked in. This made Daoqi's nerves tighten, unsure if this guy was a hunter, as the blonde was seemingly sizing him up, and when the elevator reached the floor, blonde dude stepped out, and Daoqi breathed a sigh of relief, thinking this guy wasn't a hunter. But as he exited his floor, he sensed a menacing vibe. Turns out the blonde was indeed a hunter. The hunter pulled a weapon and gave chase, causing Daoqi to panic and flee, leading to a tense game of cat and mouse as he ducked into a restroom. He quickly ducked into a stall, and before long, the blonde guy strutted in, looking far too confident in his victory. This edgy killer was unbelievable, taking the time to fix his hair before a murder. Definitely not your typical scenario. After he was done, the blonde began calling Daoqi's name, like he was trying to throw a party. Then, he kicked down all the doors and found a trembling Daoqi in one of the stalls. He even called Cyrus, declaring the game was a total train wreck. "This nightmare is nearly over in less than an hour," Cyrus exclaimed, surprised. He apologized to Daoqi and assured the blonde he'd be compensated. Just as the blonde prepared to strike, Daoqi slammed the door into him and bolted out, while the blonde thought, "Now this chase is getting interesting." Soon after, when Daoqi escaped to a car show, he scored a second prize of $100,000. Daoqi wasn't exactly celebrating. He finally understood the game's terror, and just a short distance later, a bearded guy grabbed. The bearded man threatened Daoqi with a knife, clearly the second hunter, not wanting to make a scene and instead searching for a quiet spot. But the blonde guy was not having it. His prey was not up for grabs. In the chaos, Daoqi took the chance and bolted. Once outside, he accidentally tumbled down the stairs, only to find the blonde guy blocking his path again as he stood up. Daoqi pushed the door, only to find it locked. Was he truly caught? The blonde advanced. At that moment, a cop appeared, asking what they were doing and noticing blood on Daoqi's face, per rules. He couldn't seek police help, so Daoqi lied, claiming they were friends and his injuries were from a simple fall. Under the cop's watchful eyes, Daoqi walked right by, while the blonde could only stand there, watching him get away. Next, Daoqi hopped onto the subway, leaving the blonde no choice but to toss his weapon aside. The blonde waved goodbye, appearing to find the game increasingly entertaining, causing nearby folks to view Daoqi with fear. Who knows what this blood-soaked guy's deal is? Afterward, the bearded man angrily warned the blonde. He interrupted his hunting action, but the blonde didn't care. Meanwhile, Daoqi ducked into a church. Hid in a confessional, he barely sat when the adjacent panel opened, and a priest asked what happened. Daoqi began confessing his choices, saying he might have no way out. Meanwhile, Daoqi's wife and his buddy, Chubby, arrived at the bank, feeling suspicious about the mysterious money in the bank could only track the hourly transactions, so Chubby hurriedly pulled the woman away. He suggested that Daoqi might be in trouble and that they shouldn't touch the funds until they figured things out, so they decided to call the police. Meanwhile, Daoqi was gearing up to leave the church when the priest asked where he was headed, clearly making Daoqi hesitant to spill the truth. Perhaps after learning about Daoqi's background, the priest dropped his act. Turns out he was the third hunter. When Daoqi attempted to escape, he found the priest had already locked him in, and the priest leisurely stated he had been a behaviorist at Oxford. In his academic research, he knew where to find those like Daoqi. People flee to familiar places when scared. And boy, did he hit the nail on the head this time. Following that, the priest grabbed a hammer and turned Daoqi upside down. Daoqi, being the target, seemed to have a strange connection with the hammer, and just as the priest was about to swing, it got stuck. Seizing the chance, Daoqi counterattacked and locked the priest inside, who yelled angrily, "Just wait, I will find you." He claimed to have a unique talent for tracking and, taking advantage of Daoqi's distraction, delivered a hammer strike right to his leg.